Speaking of unwanted dicks on the court, Jim Acosta interviewed an AI version of one of the kids who was killed at the Parkland school shooting. Yes, you heard that correctly. Let me pause to repeat it. Jim Acosta interviewed an AI version of one of the kids who was killed in the Parkland school shooting.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
In case you were wondering if Black Mirror was a documentary, now you know. We're going to do a full episode on AI soon. For now, let's focus on AI versions of dead children. Joaquin Oliver was 17 when he was killed. R.I.P. Joaquin. In a tragedy, Parkland school shooting. Some of you may have heard of it. The interactive AI was created by Oliver's parents, who granted Acosta the first interview. That's the way Acosta promoted it too, by the way, on his Twitter account, X or whatever, interview with the recreated version of their son on what would have been his 25th birthday. And it was offensive on so many levels, aside from just the creepy, uncanny valley response you have to that kind of disgusting representation of a dead child. Even more offensive was how bad it was. It sounded like ChatGPT.
I would like to know what your solution would be for gun violence.
Great question. I believe in a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement. We need to create safe spaces for conversations and connections, making sure everyone feels seen and heard. It's about building a culture of kindness and understanding. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea, Joaquin.
This is some weird performative form of grieving. At least Acosta could have done a funny interview with a dead Epstein. I'm just joking. We all know Epstein isn't dead. I'm just joking. Epstein isn't dead. He's on an island with Tupac and Biggie. It's kind of hard to be funny about this because it's just so grotesque. And Acosta said, what's amazing about this is that we've heard from the parents. We've heard from the politicians. Now we're hearing from one of the kids. From a Variety article, it said, quote, according to the father, the avatar was trained on information on the internet as well as things Oliver wrote and said and posted online. He said he wanted to make it clear to viewers he is under no illusions about reviving his son. I understand that this is AI. I don't want to think that I am in some way trying to bring my son back. No, it's actually much worse than trying to bring your son back. He's actually using his dead son to try and pass gun control policy, which is way more disgusting. No, I'm not trying to bring my dead son back. I'm just trying to use them for political ends. I'm sure if I lost a child to gun violence, I would have lots of feelings and be grieving, and I can't even fucking imagine. It's the most horrifying thing you can imagine as a parent, is losing a kid. What I can't imagine is resurrecting my child in AI and having them being interviewed by, of all people, a loser like Jim Acosta. At least have somebody respectable interview your dead child. Do not have Jim Acosta, a man who's barely scraping the bottom of the barrel of his media career. He's using this as some kind of scam stunt to try and resurrect him from the grave. He's using your dead child to resurrect his dead career. How many more people in grief are going to end up doing this, putting their loved ones on social media to push agendas? I have a DNR on my social media. I don't want dead Bridget out there advocating for anything. We're going to interview dead Bridget Phetasy about this. Dead Bridget, what do you think? It's so creepy. It's only a matter of time before we get AI Lincoln, AI Martin Luther King Jr. We know AI Jesus is a thing because I'm obsessed with AI Jesus, and we should probably do an episode on that too. But maybe AI Jesus is the second coming. This poor kid, Joaquin, is like, I'm dead, I'm going to heaven. And then the next thing you know, he's being interviewed by Jim Acosta. What if you are connected to your AI and then this is the afterlife? I don't know. I feel like I could go down some really dark rabbit holes thinking about this. I keep going back to this panel I heard in 2000, and it was like the dawn of all this technology stuff and Napster, and it was a whole panel, and they were talking about robotics and what is the nature of the soul, and it was a theologian and a computer scientist, and they were saying one guy had this theory that basically it's just humanity jumping elements, like silicon is an element on the periodic table and we're carbon, and that in order for us to survive the environmental conditions we're creating, maybe, and all of this stuff, that consciousness is just going to jump from carbon to silicon, and that's the soul. And I have not stopped thinking about that for 25 years. The soul is just jumping elements, and that's our evolution. I don't know. There's something so cute about carbon and like real analog. And there's something so terrifying about silicon. Have you ever squeezed a fake boob before? I have. And they feel different. Kind of hard. And you know what they feel like? A little bit. And now we're back to dildos.